The physical locations are incredibly important for Game of Thrones. The characters are defined by the worlds in which they come.
We all do love to go to Iceland. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. Every day that sun comes up, it's a new gift to us, really.
No matter how much visual effects may play a part in this, when you have a real location, then what you can imagine becomes more real. So the trick is working out where these playgrounds are going to be. Every year is nice to come back and then you read it and you go, oh my God, really?
It just gives it a sense of reality, you know? To get that journey, that sense of them trekking across this landscape, we need to come to a landscape like it. We can't paint it in or film it in Belfast.
The joy of my job is we get to come to these locations that are just, it's extraordinary.
As wonderful as Belfast is, you can't get the spectacular sweep of locations and vistas you get in Iceland and Belfast. You can't get the warm light, the different terrain, and the vegetation that you get in Spain.
Spain, I'm everywhere, and it's amazing. It's glorious. It kind of takes your breath away.
You never feel like you're in a green screen world when you shoot. You never do. You're always at a real location.
I remember when Chris showed me a picture from Iceland when I first came on the show, and I said, that's what we need to start doing. We need that bigger vistas. You know, that's what this show demands.
Iceland's always been north of the wall since season 2, and I think you'll find landscapes like this wouldn't have been imagined for map paintings unless we'd come.
It's very challenging to shoot in Iceland. You know, it can be very cold, and that's hard. Guys are pulling focus with their freezing fingers. I don't know how they do it.
Light is the given. That's the non-changing thing. It'll always be less light in the winter here.
You are on the set and waiting for the sun to rise. Once it rises, you only have about 5 hours to shoot, and so we just haul ass and try to shoot as fast as we can.
There's something magical about turning up to set, and then the light appears and you see what you're shooting in. This is going to make the episode what it is.
It's incredible, and I think to give North that kind of wild quality, Iceland is the only place to be.
When we left Spain last year, we weren't even sure that we were coming back because we weren't sure where the season was going. So it was quite exciting when the outlines came up that actually we were going to have to look for a lot of this stuff in Spain again.
The great thing about Spain is that there's so many different looks within one country.
It has, you know, from green, lush land like this to Moorish architecture to other traditional architecture that we can get King's Landing here as well. So Spain as a country has a massive diversity of locations.
Coming to this location, it could have been any number of countries. Something kind of ancient and epic about it. It's an amazing place to come.
I really enjoy shooting in Spain. There's like locations that you almost can't believe are just here. They're so beautiful that you're like, oh, someone built this for the show. And it's not, this is just there.
If you believe the worlds in which people are living and we're actually filming, you believe more about the stories and about the characters.
It's just such a major factor in why this show has worked. And I'm stunned every time I come onto a new set.
And each year we get spoiled and spoiled and spoiled, and I'm very, very, very lucky in what I get to do, and Spain makes it feel like a holiday.
This is not a bad place to work, is it? This is like an amazing way to spend a day of work.
This is our 3rd year shooting here. It gets better every year. And the locations just, I mean, you know, I live in New York City. This is breathtaking.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. New Game of Thrones preview, let's break it down. Just careful for spoilers for everything that's happened on the show so far. There's a new round of the giveaway for the HBO Now subscriptions. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. So there's a couple really big things they show off in this. One are the lands of always winter. You even see a slate that says something from episode 6, but they're just highlighting the locations that they film in Iceland and Spain, which is where they've been before a lot, but so much is happening up closer to the north that a lot of the scenes that they're filming aren't the traditional scenes they filmed in those places. So like they talk about a bunch of the new castles that they had to find while they were in Spain. They used to film a lot of stuff in Dubrovnik for King's Landing, for instance, but then they moved that to Spain. So you see them filming a lot of the same locations in the same country. So you get like Daenerys Marine stuff from last season, but you also get King's Landing stuff within the same country. So now, because we're in Westeros and Daenerys is going to be fighting between the south, the north, the east, the west, you just see a bunch of that play out across this behind the scenes footage. So let's just break it down as we go through. The early stuff I mentioned with the slate here from episode 7, this is very clearly up beyond north of the wall. Most of the Iceland stuff used to just be for the wildling things when Jon Snow was trying to infiltrate them during season 3, the scenes that are shot in and around the wall, like all this stuff with the three-eyed raven, with Bran trying to escape the death of Hodor. This is all Iceland stuff. But you see a lot of this terrain. This is stuff that we haven't seen since Jon Snow was with those wildlings in season 3. They're going so much further north than they've ever gone before. And it's very reminiscent of that scene during season 4 where the White Walker was taking Craster's son to be turned into a new White Walker by the Night King. So you don't see Jon Snow in his wildling furs yet, but you do see Tormund, so this looks like it's part of this scene from the trailer here where they're entering the frozen north. But then you see a lot of Tyrion in what looks like scenes around Dragonstone, like where he's standing on this open plain watching the dragons fly around. You see them tracking him with this big green screen. So you have to imagine there's a giant dragon flying in his field of vision here. There's a bunch of Daenerys entering the beach. I love the look on Emilia Clarke's face too. Like she is so excited to be doing this. They're going to be so bummed out after they finish filming season 8. Most of this terrain here reminds me of the Tower of Joy, so this might be happening closer to Dorne with some of those big campaigns. There'll be a couple really big Lannister battles, and I think just in order to make the Lannisters feel like a big threat, they will get a couple big wins. Because in the other behind-the-scenes trailer that I posted the other day, you actually spot Ellaria Sand in chains with Cersei way back behind here. So at some point, Cersei will capture one of the Sand Snakes, so that just means that there will be a Lannister victory. It's not going to be all one-sided, even though Daenerys has her dragons. Missandei here, sitting next to this plant life here, just kind of backs that up. This looks like the gardens in Dorne. You see a little bit of Jon Snow that's further south. He's not in costume in this shot either. So you just have to remember that the characters will be moving around quite a bit. Probably Daenerys the most, just because she's starting out in the south and she's making her way all the way up to the north. There's a couple more Dornish castles, and probably the biggest reveal is this shot of what looks like the ruins of the Dragonpit in King's Landing. They did say that they would be filming in a location that sounded like that, and this reminds me of Daznak's pit back in Meereen, but this is going to be a different location. They're not going back to Meereen. This is all taking place in Westeros. So it seems like there will be some scenes with Daenerys in King's Landing. Whether or not that happens early in the season, late in the season, remains to be seen. But it sounds like Cersei is going to hold out quite a bit, so I'm not expecting this to happen till much, much later. But let me know which location you're most excited about. Honestly, the Dragon Pit just has so much history behind it, but I cannot wait to see what craziness happens with Tormund and Jon's group north of the wall. So just because the slate says episode 6 doesn't mean it'll take that long for them to get up there, but it does imply that they're going to be ending on a big cliffhanger in the north, which I think would be a great way to push into season 8. So you have all these wars happening in the south, you have Daenerys, Cersei getting a couple of victories, eventually they make their way north and they end on a big, oh my god, are they going to live, are they going to die moment. But let me know, what do you think that cliffhanger is going to be? Because if this is episode 6, then it sounds like episode 7 is just going to be a continuation of this. But leave all your requests for Game of Thrones bonus videos in the comments below. We'll probably get a proper trailer either next week or the week after that because we'll be about 4 weeks out from the season premiering. Usually when we get about 4 weeks out is when they really start dropping promos. So a whole bunch more Game of Thrones coming. I'll announce the winner of the giveaway the next time I post a Game of Thrones video. That'll be on Sunday. While you wait for that, click here for that other behind the scenes trailer, and you can click here for all my other promo videos. Thank you so much for watching. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.